Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Whether you are here for the first time or you have been following this channel, I am so glad that you are here. This channel is all about breaking down English grammar in a simple, clear and practical way. I am covering 2-3 concepts at a time. As you all know, for this I am using Wren and Martin's High School English Grammar and Composition. In today's episode, we are diving into chapter 3, the phrase and the clause. Do you know the difference between phrase and clause and their meaning? If you don't know, you are in the right place. We will cover definitions and real examples straight from the book. So grab your notebook, hit that subscribe button if you have not done it yet, and let's build your grammar confidence together. So, wishing you a happy learning ahead. Let us come to slide 1. Let's look closely at a group of words in a corner. Ask yourself, is it a sentence? No, it is not a sentence. Next, does it contain a subject and a predicate? Again, no. It has neither a subject nor a predicate. But does it make sense? Yes, it makes sense. We understand what it means. However, it does not make complete sense of its own, because we do not find the answer of such questions like what is in a corner or who is in a corner. This kind of group of words, one that makes sense but not complete sense, is called a phrase. So remember, a phrase is a meaningful word group and it is not a complete sentence. Now let us go to the next slide. Now let's see phrases in action straight from the book. Look at these sentences. The sun rises in the east. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. There came a giant to my door. It was a sunset of great beauty. The tops of the mountains were covered with snow. Show me how to do it. In each sentence, the words in color are phrases. Look at the sentences again. Each phrase adds meaning to the sentence. But if you take any phrase alone, like in the east or on a wall, it does not make complete sense by itself. And none of these phrases contain both the subject and a predicate. So, let's recall the definition of phrase. A phrase is a group of words that makes sense, but not complete sense. It does not contain a subject and a predicate. Phrases are building blocks inside sentences. They give detail and clarity, but they are not sentences on their own. Now let's go to the next slide. Now let us look at how phrases work inside the two main parts of a sentence, the subject and the predicate. Our first example is, the tops of the mountains were covered with snow. Here the subject is the tops of the mountains, and inside it, the phrase of the mountains tells us which tops we are talking about. So the phrase here is inside the subject. Let us take our second example. The sun rises in the east. Here the predicate is rises in the east, and inside it, the phrase in the east tells us where the sun rises. So the phrase is inside the predicate. Now, here is the key point to remember. A phrase does not contain a subject and a verb on its own, but it can be used inside the subject or predicate to add detail and meaning. So whether it is describing what in the subject or telling how, where or when in the predicate, phrases can be part of the subject or predicate. Now let's move on to the next slide. Now let us move from phrases to clauses. Take a look at this sentence. He has a chain which is made of gold. Now look closely at the group of words in yellow. Which is made of gold? Ask yourself, does this group of words have a subject? Yes, the subject is which. Does it have a predicate? Yes, the predicate is made of gold. Does it form part of a larger sentence? Yes, it is just one piece of the whole sentence. And here is the key. Because this group of words contains both a subject and a predicate and forms part of a sentence, it is called a clause. So to define it clearly, a clause is a group of words that forms part of a sentence and it contains a subject and a predicate. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide. Let's look at some real examples of clauses from the book itself. First, people who pay their debts are trusted. Here the clause is who pay their debts. It has a subject, who. and a predicate, pay their debts. It tells us more about the people. Next, we cannot start while it is raining. The clause here is while it is raining. Subject is it and predicate is raining. It explains when we cannot start. And finally, I think that you have made a mistake. The clause is that you have made a mistake. Subject is you and predicate is have made a mistake. It tells us what I think. In each example, you can see a clause contains a subject and a predicate and it forms part of a larger sentence. It's not a full sentence on its own, but it is a complete idea inside one sentence. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. I have shown you a quick reference table on screen. Just look at it. This table breaks down the key differences in a simple side-by-side format. It compares definitions, examples and rules. I will not read through the whole table because it is really here for your reference only. I would encourage you to pause the video here and take a screenshot if it helps you to study later. After this, we'll move on to the next slide. Yes, look at the slide. Let's do a quick recap. Phrase, it is a group of words. It makes some sense, but not complete sense. And it has no subject and no predicate. Okay? And let's go to the clause. It is also a group of words. It forms part of a sentence. And it has both a subject and a predicate. And here is your simple rule to remember. A phrase is a meaningful word group with no subject-verb pair. But a clause is a meaningful word group with a subject-verb pair. Keep that in mind and you will always be able to tell them apart. Now, let's put what we have learned into practice. Look at each sentence and identify whether the blue group of words is a phrase or a clause. Here is the first one. She sat on the table. The blue part is on the table. Does it have a subject and verb? No. So it is a phrase. Next, the book that you gave me is lost. The blue part is that you gave me. Does it have a subject and a verb? Yes. You is the subject and gave is the verb. So it is a clause. Third, after the meeting, we went home. The blue part is after the meeting. Subject or verb? No. So it is a phrase. And last, I know where he lives. The blue part is where she lives. Subject and verb? Yes, she is the subject here and lives is the verb. So it is a clause. Are you clear now? Yes, remember, no subject-verb pair, that is phrase, and if there is subject-verb pair, then that is clause. This is the end of this episode. Finally, thanks for watching. Kindly consider subscribing my channel. I will come with new and informative videos like this in each episode. Do your work, believe in God, and stay positive.